and there will be some, real negativity. And I don't care, because it's my value that this doesn't happen. I respond in the comments. This is not the place for that. If you want to drag an umpire, you go somewhere else.
So this week I had an interesting thing happen. I put up a clip of my podcast, and it got 3,000 views over the course of a week. It got 1,000 views the first day, which was fantastic. I don't usually get that, but it got a whole lot of interesting negative comments, and the commenters are fighting with each other about the topic, which is kind of funny. I posted something about it on the Battalion Facebook group, and a couple of the guys said, don't worry about it. Some people said, hide it. Some people said, oh, that's engagement, and YouTube loves engagement. And somebody else came back and said, Nick Nimmin says that's not true. And he had a link to a video stating that from YouTube that says, we don't care about comments as far as algorithm making your thing more popular or not. So I don't know. I haven't responded to any of them. I liked the first couple because they were funny, but I haven't responded to the rest of them. So, and I don't know what to do. And right now we're at about 50 comments total on the whole thing. So I don't know if I need to respond or just let it go, or double down and try to make another controversial one. I don't know.
Yeah, the thing with that particular clip is the topic, because it's basically, or maybe you want to explain what the video is about. But I know that particular
I will,
niche
and I actually will explain. I didn't want to hijack it that way, but I will, and I'll put a link to it in the description right below this video. Aubrey Plaza has invested in a company called Wood Milk, where they make milk out of trees. It's a fake company, but she's making fun of almond milk and soy milk and oat milk and all this kind of stuff. And it's paid for by the people it's paid for by the dairy industry, who wants you to buy real milk. So the whole gag is that she's drinking this wood milk, and it's this thick, pasty, ugly crap, and she's pissed off that she invested in it. And that's the whole premise. So some of the comments are funny because they like Aubrey Plaza as a performer, and they think she's funny, and I do too. Some of the people are pissed about the dairy industry because raising cows kills the environment, they say. I don't know if any of that's true, but that's the opinion of a lot of people. So that's kind of where it's coming from.
So I've got a bit of experience in the whole plant-based vegan niche. And I can tell you that there is nothing.
Get the heck out. For real?
Yeah. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
I ran a company called the Vegan Marketing People.
Why don't we know this about you?
We learn something new every day.
Yeah. But people get really super wound up about this whole thing, like the whole vegan and plant-based, not just those who are vegan or plant-based, follow a plant-based diet, against the ones that don't, that are meat eaters and dairy and so on, but also within the niche as well. There is like massive sort of I don't know what the word to describe it is, but basically people have got very strong opinions on this. So you'll get some people who are, say that they're following a plant-based diet, but then they eat honey, and then there'll be like a massive backlash against them because, oh, well, honey isn't, it's you're hurting the bees. So there's a whole sort of gamut.
That's the one thing I never understood about that. Why do they crap on honey? Because it's a byproduct of being a bee. Honey just shows up. It just happens.
Yeah. There is. If you want to get super technical about it, there is some level to this, but I'm not going to get into the whole thing about it. But that is just why this has caused such an uproar, is because there's really strong opinions, and I don't have strong opinions on it, but I know that this niche does have very strong opinions. And there's some people who would just, why can't people just let people get on with like doing what they do or eat what they eat is beyond me. But people on both sides get really super agitated about it and just fuel the fire. So I suspect that is why this particular one has done that, because there's loads of people against the dairy industry. There's loads of people who say, about the other stuff, well, I wouldn't drink that, but it's that's where it's come from, I think, in this case.
Yeah. But how do you, in general, the broader topic is negativity in general. Should a person take a side on this kind of thing, or should the person just let things go?
I think it depends on what your values are as a brand, because, for example, with FH Umpires, I have a very strong, stated, overt, and often ranted about value that we do not drag umpires. We're here to support umpires. And even though we're in the business of constructively learning about how to improve our performance, we're not there to make anybody feel bad about any mistakes that they've made. We need to learn from them, so we have to discuss them, but it's going to be done in the right way. So I will occasionally get comments on my streams where somebody, usually from the nation, that was affected by a mistake that an umpire made, and there will be some, real negativity. And I don't care, because it's my value that this doesn't happen. I respond in the comments. This is not the place for that. If you want to drag an umpire, you go somewhere else. I do not tolerate that behavior. Don't come back here again with that attitude. And I've done that on my live streams where somebody's come in the comments and said something negative. And I'm like, oh, no, we don't do that. End of story. And I just bang. And I mean, obviously the people who are on the other side of the pendulum, that all the umpires who are there to learn are like, yeah, Keely, that's great. And they love that. And I know I'm taking a risk, because at some point somebody might get really, really angry and it might get out of control. But every time I've done it, that person, especially if they're live, they'll come back and say, oh, I'm sorry. That's my mistake. I won't do that again. I'm like, okay, you can stay now. You've apologized. That's fine. And there's something to be said about people who stick up for their values. So if that's one of the things that you do not tolerate, then speak up. And I'm sure that every one of us would have areas like that maybe aren't overtly part of our brands, but are something that we believe in strongly. Do you believe strongly in the vegan versus carnivore versus omnivore versus all these kind of diets, Rich? You don't. So
yeah, I don't
you're like,
go
ahead, whatever. I mean, and that's what I would think, is that if that's not a personal, or if that's not a value that's important to your brand, I wouldn't worry about it.
Well, it hasn't gotten personal. The discussion on this video hasn't gotten personal where people are attacking each other, but they are calling each other out. So I just think it's kind of funny, but I just,
I was going to say the same thing. It's not about the debate that they're all having. The point of posting it was from a branding and advertising perspective, and it was really funny and well done, and that was the point of highlighting it, wasn't it? So it's like, that is the conversation that you're having about it. What the other people are having is kind of between them. So unless, as you say, unless it gets nasty in there or something like that, it's causing, people are obviously talking about it. So I think that's a good thing.
And at the same time, there is a bit of a play by those guys that they are courting that controversy. The milk industry, I mean, they're obviously knee deep in it, but they're courting that by putting this wood milk thing. And Aubrey Plaza as an actor, and then her characters, tend to be, really out there with some of the positions and that sort of thing, just in a very funny way. I can see that's part of the point. And that's part of a point, is you talking about how brands are putting out merch, putting out ideas that, hey, there are lines that maybe you are crossing and maybe you're not crossing them. And that's part of your discussion there, I guess, Rich.
Yeah. What do you got to say, Michelle?
A little bit more, as far as like the actual discussion around it. Yes, I agree with everyone where it says, where you're talking about your values and such, you want to make sure that that's what you're at the bottom, at the core of whatever you're doing, that you're not crossing a boundary, right? You're setting boundaries for your viewers. However, it's nice to be able to see both sides of the situation, and then at the same time, it takes on a life of its own. And so, as long as they're not like, disrespecting each other or whatever, that's good on you, because you were able to find something that struck a chord with your audience. And then, now you're having this back and forth going. So they're like, oh, wow. So, what do they say in the news business? No news is, good
If
news
it bleeds,
or bad
it leads.
news. It's all.
That's one thing they say.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
There's no
If
such
it
thing as
bleeds, it
bad
leads.
press, right?
There you go. So
Absolutely. Well, I had something that I wanted to run by you guys as well that is on this theme, because in some of the programs that I'm in, they advocate a particular template of a social media post that is about controversial take coming up. What do you think? This is what I think about this thing that everybody else thinks the opposite. So
Yeah.
I was thinking of using this with Discord Coach because, you guys, hot off the press, Discord has released the ability to add voice messages and to post them, upload them into text channels.
I guess I don't get
But
what
that's what I wanna
what the
do.
thing is. So people can I
Okay,
can
but
record
so
a
the
30-second
thing
thing.
Yeah. The way that you can send somebody a voice message on WhatsApp, or, remember that volley thing that I was such a big fan of?
Yeah.
A little bit of that, going back and forth with recorded messages. So, sorry. I have feelings. So,
But it's in a regular
All right.
channel where everybody can hear it. So I can send you a message in a
Yeah.
text channel and everybody else can listen to the message. Well, that's stupid. Is it stupid or is it not?
it is
I don't know. It's the
absolutely
same.
stupid
It's the
in my
same as.
opinion, but that's
it's the
gonna-
same as volley. It's
that's gonna be a
asynchronous.
controversial
Audio's dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's asynchronous audio. So I want to record like a short or a reel or something where I'm like, hey, fantastic new feature that Discord just released, and don't you dare use it. And this is why. And do one of those sort
cool.
of like hot takes. And
Yeah.
like I don't, there's something about me that doesn't like that, because I feel like it is a manipulative. But what do you guys think? Do you think that's something that would be valuable
click
and
click
something I should do?
baity.
From a community manager,
Crazy.
coach, Discord coach situation, I think it's a perfect thing for you
Okay.
because you're giving advice on how to run your community, which is what you do. So, using Discord as a tool, I think it's perfect.
And also, you're not just doing
Clickbaity,
it for
though.
clickbait. I mean, it's actually sound advice. There's this new thing that's rolling out that people might be tempted unwisely to use. And you're just basically, correcting that misguided opinion.
Sorry, I got a fly in here. I didn't mean to distract you. If that's your
Because I'm with you. I hate getting a voice message in a text platform where it's like, okay, so now I've got to listen to this. I can't just like quickly glance at it to see what it's about. It's just a little play button, and so I'm unlikely to necessarily prioritize that.
Yeah. Well, there's so many reasons why it's wrong, but I will fully explore them in 59 seconds or less, or a longer reel, whatever. Might actually do my first TikTok that way. There you go. And some people might get mad at that. Who knows? Because some people think that exchanging asynchronous audio is a very efficient way of doing business, and it's so awesome. And Discord's rolled this out because they think it's a valuable feature. People have been,
You know what? They might have started
for a
working.
long time.
They might have started working on it when volley was the thing, and they already were working on it, and then now volley's out, and so they already invested all this time in it.
Volley was the leader in that. I don't think that's probably why.
Yeah, I mean, Volley's video though, isn't it? But all the platforms like Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, and all the others, you can record messages. The thing I don't understand is it's like, okay, I can understand people saying this is going to turn into an episode about messaging, voice messages now, but it's quicker than typing it out. But it's not when you can literally use the same function to dictate it and have it, write out the text.
Right? Now that AI can do all of these things so well, I can't believe how well my iPhone, when I'm using, the dictate function, it's actually starting to understand my sentences now and put the punctuation where it's supposed to be.
I double dog dare you to get Siri to say fuck. I don't think you can ever get her to do it.
Oh, I think I can. I think
She
I can
types it
because
all
I
the
have the
time.
autocorrect already. Yeah. I'm like, if there's ever duck, it has to actually autocorrect to fuck. And I have that
fixed that?
programmed into my keyboard. Yeah, I did. Because I'm like, nope, you don't get to correct me.
That's your next reel. Do that. That's a good reel.
There you go. So what kind of controversial things have you had, Alec, in your stuff? Is there ever been something you're like, I'm going to take a stance and see what people do? Or have anybody reacted badly to anything that you've posted like that?
I don't tend to do that kind of like being controversial, as you've probably gathered. In terms of like negativity that I get in my comments, I don't get a huge amount of that either. It's usually things like I should be more conscious about my editing to edit out the ums and ers and things like that. There was one comment left just yesterday which was just and it's a fair point, but they've obviously don't realize it's not necessarily obvious if someone just watches one of my videos.
The C3PO comment was awesome. I remember that one. That was really good.
That was a good one. Yeah. There was another good one that I posted in our Discord just recently. I can't remember what it was now, but it was talking about the expressions that people have on their YouTube thumbnails. I can't remember the exact wording, but that one was priceless as well. But that goes the other way, I guess, with my whole editing thing. There was someone else who commented like, "Your edits are seamless." It's like, yeah, because there isn't any. Yeah, I don't get a huge amount of negativity. There's like it'll be things. I mean, it's negativity about my videos. So it's not like about like because I don't cover anything controversial. But it'll be things like the content starts at 7 minutes 43 seconds in, stuff like that. But I don't get a huge amount of negativity. But that's just the way that I waffle on, don't I? As I'm doing right now.
I had one person say, "Ma'am, you know what you're talking about. Could you please give us the answer instead of talking about the same play for 45 minutes?" And I replied to him and I said, "No, because that's not what I'm about. I'm not here to give you the answer. I'm here to make you think, and I'm here to argue with you, and I'm here to engage in all the permutations and make sure everybody understands what's going on. So no, I'm just such a jerk."
I will say, actually, when there have been people who have left like negative comments, but that have actually been, they're right. I mean, if somebody comments on my video and says that I'm just rambling and it's a waste of their time or whatever, then, they've probably got a point, especially with my earlier videos. It was worse so. But when I've responded to people, like, basically thanking them for their feedback, then usually they'll respond back with like, "Oh, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean it to sound like..." So I think sometimes people comment. It's easy to take offense at things people say in comments when really there's it's just either boredom or they don't really mean it or they whatever.
Well, they don't actually realize there's a real person. They don't realize there's a real person there. And when a real person responds to them, I mean, if they barked at the TV and the TV said something back to them, that would be totally different. They'd say, "Oh, they won't bark at the TV."
Yeah.
Well, Mom, I have good home training. If I don't have something good to say, I will just keep scrolling. Okay. And sometimes you might just need to say something. It's like, look, if you don't enjoy this, keep scrolling. Don't stop to scroll. Keep scrolling. Bye-bye. This is my channel. My name is on this, not yours.
Have you had any bad comments, Michelle? Or anything interesting like that?
No, God, no. I have enough bad news and stuff that I have to deal with on a daily basis. The last place I want it is on my YouTube channel. So no, thank God. But I try to bring a more lighthearted type of sitch to my channel. And, thank God. No, I haven't.
Yeah. Good. Maybe I need to get to work and get over there and seed some stuff and see if I can get some people fired up.
I can give you some anti-consumerist, minimalist stuff, Rich, for your channel. Just be like, all this stuff is garbage. Nobody needs to buy anything, and see how that goes over. What do you think? Would you be happy about that?
Awesome. You should post that. That would be great. You should do that. Every video. That would be fantastic.
Every video. Have any of y'all tried minimalism?
Yeah. Put that on the Stream Deck button. That would be great.
Okay. I did an experiment last week with an Instagram reel, and it was a format that I've never done because I've always been a little worried, and this is with FH umpires now, that I've always been worried about opening the door for people to do the thing that I explained before that I get really mad about, like dragging umpires. And a lot of accounts on Instagram do really, really well putting up clips from a match. And they say things like, "What's your call?" or "Should this have been a goal?" And it's to me, it's entirely clickbaity because the people running the account know nothing about umpiring. They know nothing about, probably like actual hockey. And then the comments just tend to be like just a dumpster fire. And so I finally thought, okay, maybe I should just try to engage with some of this content. And I did a duet where I watched one of these plays and I just filmed myself reacting to what I was seeing and just going, because it was a really bad call. Like it needed to, something else needed to happen there. And I put in my comments, remember this account is a no drag zone. So, keep it cool, friends. And then looked at everybody's comments and it was actually pretty good. Most people were pretty constructive, just not very detailed, and just a lot of them missed the point and things like that. And so now I have an opportunity to take that and put that on, and take that duet and make that the subject of my What Up Wednesday for, one of my topics, and say, okay, now I'm going to explain what really happened here and what the call needed to be and how we should address this and how we should look at this in the future, because it's always about future improvement. But I was really worried about doing it because I felt like I was courting disaster, that I was just going to open it up and say, all right, trolls, come on in and yell. And I have so many umpires, like my people are the umpires. And if I did that, I was scared that I was going to be turning my back on the people that I'm kind of just charged to serve and protect in a way. And, but that ended up being like my most highly engaged with reel ever. And I got tons of followers out of it. And yeah, it was crazy. So it's a delicate balance. And
that's not really clickbaity though. You took a stand and you took a stand and you stated your position, and that's fine. It's not like you said, look, it's a dangerous thing, and it wasn't dangerous at all. I mean, it wasn't like you said something and then something else happened. That's not what happened. That's what clickbait is to me. Like you say, I'm quitting this, and then you don't actually quit, that kind of thing. So I think it's probably fine.
Is that it? Are we
Anything
done?
Else? Could be. Let birthday boy go have some damn cake.
Thanks for hopping into our Creators Pod. If you enjoyed it, we'd love if you would subscribe and leave a review wherever you get your podcasts, and tell a friend about it. Check out the video version on our YouTube channel, Creators Pod. The Creators Pod is produced by C22 Media, Dina Taylor, Keely Dunn, Michelle Lawrence, Rich Graham, Rob Vaules, and me, Alec Johnson. Thanks for listening.
You're a master editor. I trust you implicitly.